Murder your local transphobes. Sergio Da Silva suspects he was arrested last fall for writing those words on X. Da Silva is the owner of TurboHaüs, a beloved concert venue on Saint Denis Street, and last fall he ran for a seat on city council, which drew attention to his more outlandish social media posts. In particular, the right-wing blog Rebel News released a report highlighting posts where Da Silva joked about killing politicians. Were the posts in poor taste? Absolutely. Did they represent a threat to the political class? No. Even so, within a week of the story coming out, Da Silva was arrested and charged with uttering threats on the internet. The charges were ultimately dropped by the Crown last month, but not before the state used valuable time and resources to prosecute someone in a case that reeks of political interference. This isn't the first time the state has gone after Quebec's political left for allegedly inciting violence. Last month, police arrested activists in connection with the staging of a mock execution during a May Day protest. The activists used a fake guillotine to behead a papier-mâché politician who bore a striking resemblance to Labour Minister Jean Boulet. The fake executioners deny their action was in any way meant as a threat to Boulet, but rather as an act of radical political theater. Even so, Boulet told police the guillotine caused him to feel threatened, so now the state is aiming all its might at a faction within the labor movement. The lawyers I've spoken to say that the chances of this actually resulting in a conviction are exceedingly low. But when a provincial minister wants a separate branch of the government to do his bidding, they do his bidding. Meanwhile, in Montreal last month, police opened a hate crime investigation into protesters who staged a mock hanging of Israeli cabinet minister Itamar Ben-Gvir. For the record, Ben-Gvir wears a kippah, and when protesters hanged him in effigy, they included the kippah. The inclusion of the kippah was enough for City Councillor Leslie Roberts to demand a hate crime investigation into the fake hanging. Roberts views the execution of Ben-Gvir, a convicted terrorist who has been sanctioned by the Canadian government for inciting hatred and violence against Palestinians, as an attack against the Jewish community itself. Forgive me for this loose talk, but if you think that Ben-Gvir, an extremist who wants to eradicate Palestinians, represents Judaism, maybe you're the one who's an anti-Semite. But again, Quebec's political class called on the cops to do their bidding, and they got exactly what they wanted. I'd like to note that Leslie Roberts, when he was working as a freelance writer, took a paid trip to Israel and wrote a glowing review of the country as it slaughtered Palestinians. Roberts is not moral or neutral in this, far from it. And from where I'm standing, it looks as though he is using the police to conduct an investigation into his political opponents. We'll be talking to Sergio Da Silva about this weaponization of the police in today's episode of The Week Is Rover. With us today is Sergio Da Silva. He is the owner of TurboHaüs. He's an advocate against noise complaints, for cohabitation. He ran with the political party Transition Montreal. And Sergio, you had a little bit of legal trouble recently. Could you talk to us about that?
Yeah. About a week before the election, I got a call from the SPVM.
The election where you were running for city council, right?
The election where I was running for city councilor in the Saint Jacques district of Ville-Marie, which is an important one. It has like Old Port, Chinatown, and the Quartier Spectacle. So about a week before the election, I received a call from the SPVM telling me to turn myself in, and I was like, "That's fucking crazy." Can I swear on this?
You can swear on this.
I was like, "That's fucking crazy. Why?" Okay, yeah. And they were like, "You have 45 minutes. It's noon now. You have 45 minutes to come to the station." Figure out your lawyer and then come speak to us. And I was like, okay. So I called the party. They hooked me up with Niels Ricardo, who's a great lawyer for Grey Casgrain. And basically I went in and they're like, you are under arrest for uttering death threats on the internet. And I said nothing because my lawyer told me to shut the fuck up. And I did that. And then I received a paper saying that I had a gag order. Up until today, actually, July 2nd, where I was not allowed to speak about any of this under the penalty of breaking my bail. I've been out on bail since the end of October.
Out on bail. It's like the title of your next album. Sergio Da Silva, Out on Bail.
The worst part is I didn't even get a mugshot. Like I was supposed to be processed yesterday on Canada Day. I didn't get a mugshot or nothing. So that's kind of a bummer, I guess.
No mugshot, no t-shirt, no poster?
Yeah, I spent $6,000 on lawyer's fees, and all I got was these lawyer's fees.
Okay, so what do you know specifically what the death threat was, or what the...
Well, I would imagine it was one of the things from what TVA had picked up from Rebel News, as there's just a long list of tweets that they just took, not even out of context. It's sort of hyperbolic things. When somebody is just not in a position of power and is frustrated, you use hyperbole as this literary tool to get a message across. And none of these like, supposed journalists were able to understand that that's what was going on. So Rebel News makes this thing, there's a whole list of stuff, and then TVA picks it up, and then I become like a terrorist, apparently. Some of the stuff that came out was just sort of like the thing that my lawyer...
Were you joking about guillotines? Were you joking
No. I think the biggest one that they got the most upset about that could have broken the law was murder your local transphobe. And it was in regards to this sort of like, every time there's some fucking God knows what happening in the city, the officials go after the most sort of the most marginalized people.
Yeah.
But they had just been fucking around with trying to get some different bathroom laws after the one political blunder after another. Like the CAC has been a shit show since they.
The Bernard Joinville, like we're doing poorly in education, so let's pick on trans kids. Yeah, I mean it's one of the oldest plays in the book. What you're going through, like, look, on the one hand, you are using violent hyperbole. I mean, I know, but then I know that there are examples like Brett Wilson. Do you remember the Dragon's Den? He was like one of the investors from out west.
Okay.
Brett Wilson, he was from Saskatchewan, big energy guy. He was like repeatedly tweeting about hanging Justin Trudeau, or it would be like, Justin Trudeau's a traitor, and we hang traitors in these parts.
That's it.
I don't know why he's from Texas, but that's kind of that was the vibe I was getting from Brett Wilson. But like he never faced legal repercussions because I think it is understood that he doesn't literally want to hang the prime minister. I mean, it's not healthy for our political discourse, but has that in any way has it forced you to, when you say something publicly, to like really measure it and really watch? And do you think maybe it's affected your ability to criticize the government at all? Or like, how has it affected you?
I mean, it has affected me in a way that like it brought up my level of notoriety. Like people think that I'm this awful person. Like, I've gotten death threats and I've gotten whatever because of the information that was put out there by specifically Rebel News and TVA. But it didn't really change. That didn't change why I was saying stuff. That notoriety, that comes with eyeballs on you. And once you do the work, right? The hyperbole was, the point of the hyperbole was to get the eyes on me. And now I did that. And now I have this audience and I can say things in a way that are more in tune with what I really feel and how that can be better understood by more people. So in a sense, the idea of them going so hard on me got me exactly what I wanted. So I learned fucking nothing. I got exactly what I wanted out of this. And I'm
sure you didn't want the $6,000 in lawyers' fees.
Nobody wants the $6,000 in lawyers' fees. But like at the end of the day, like when I used this literary device in a way that I thought was going to be effective, and ultimately it became effective. But that changes now. You have to be mature enough to know that, like, okay, I was able to do that. Now people are looking. Now people are trying to understand what you're talking about. Make sure you're saying things that are worth listening to. Make sure that you're communicating your ideas that are you no longer have to be provocative in this way. You can now simply, if you look at the landscape, you look at what's going on with, with the cops, with landlords, with everything else, you simply just have to give people the information.
Yeah.
And they can, take from that what they will. Because, when you're in Longueuil and you're a cop and you're shooting a 15-year-old and then you're getting 100 cops to go to the homes of children who've just watched their friend get shot in the fucking street, I don't need to be hyperbolic about that.
No.
That's currently what's going on.
The absurdity of the situation is enough that you can just point out the absurdity of the situation.
That's it. And but again, when you don't have those eyeballs on you, you're just, you're frustrated and you're screaming into the void. I never thought like that was going to be something that actually spun in this way that would get me this attention. But ultimately it did. And that kind of and here I am.
It feels like in Quebec, we were having a conversation about free speech at the beginning of the CAC era, or during their first mandate. And it was around the ability of certain Quebecers to use the N-word in reference to certain academic writings. No, but there was a legit conversation about freedom of speech. And I remember on Radio Canada, there was an all-white panel, looked like a Wonder Bread.
Mm-hmm.
And they were basically saying it's essential. We need to be able to use it in certain contexts. And weirdly, we're not having a conversation about freedom of speech anymore. And yet, the activists from Alliance Ouvrière who staged a mock execution of Labor Minister Jean Boulet, they've been arrested. There is a hate crime investigation into the activists who hanged Itamar Ben-Gvir in effigy, saying, well, it's a hate crime because Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is a war criminal and genocidal and like would be arrested if he came to Canada. Itamar Ben-Gvir, to some people, I guess, represents all of Judaism, which seems incredibly anti-Semitic, because if that's what Judaism is, holy God, right? It has nothing to do with this guy's genocidal worldview. But it feels like now that we've had the N-word conversation about freedom of speech and academic freedom, weirdly, we don't want to have it anymore when it's about challenging the political class. I know it's a violent challenge to the political class, but it still feels like within the bounds of free speech. Why do you see that having evolved?
I mean, I wouldn't put it all on this, but when, fucking when old Chuck got shot in the neck, it changed kind of what I felt was sort of the pH in the room, right? Like everybody.
You mean when for those who like have not been paying attention, when Charlie Kirk, the right-wing activist Charlie Kirk was killed. Yeah, I remember a very like everyone checked themselves that day, and you see it maybe as a bit of a turning point in North America,
specifically in an online discourse. Like that's when the things that I was putting down became hyper focused on the things that I said, even to the point where like on my throat it says Bella Ciao, and then on the bullet apparently that hit him, said Bella Ciao, and then they were like, oh, you're this Antifa super soldier, like you want to kill your political opponents.
You were at the training camp, Antifa training camp in Portland, Oregon,
just going through like tires and but it's like and so like that kind of changed sort of like the online discourse, where it became like everybody was like, well, if you say these things, you are going to get people killed. And like, I don't believe that most people, myself included, have that kind of sway, that kind of motion, right? Like every fucking week, I get on the internet and I ask people to come to my bar. And it's fucking empty every fucking Monday. So if you think like I have the capacity to convince somebody to go out and murder the leader of the fucking official opposition of Canada, which something that they are, saying that I'm trying to get people to do, you've lost the plot completely. These are two completely separate things. And when I'm getting fucking. Listen, fucking Projet Montréal, if you're going to get your fucking bozos to go out and write goddamn Facebook screeds about how I'm worse than the president of the United States with the way that I speak, at least have the fucking balls to tag me in it so I can talk to you about it. Like it's just
performance. Like
it reeks to high heaven. If you're the party that's currently in charge and our rent has doubled since you've been in charge, and you're going to talk about the things that I say on the internet as if it's political violence, you've completely lost your minds. You're feckless cowards. You're incapable of doing the job that you were fucking mandated to do. And here we are with fucking rent it's never been worse, fucking evictions that have never been worse, homelessness that's never been worse. And you have the fucking gall to get on the fucking internet, not even fucking tag me, you fucking coward, and say that, hey, this person has somehow worse than the president of the United States. I own a venue in Montreal. I'm sorry, I don't have the same sway as the most powerful person on the planet.
Do you have the nuclear codes?
Fucking goon, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. On this show, we sometimes get flack because the mayor's party thinks we don't criticize Projet Montréal enough. I think we can bank that for like a month. I think that can count for our criticism for that. Thank you. So thank you. I appreciate that.
But it's just like, as the left-wing party, you're supposed to do left-wing shit. And here I am fucking to the left of you. And I'm the fucking capitalist guy in the room guy. I own 2 businesses. Like, I do more for the city than fucking in a fucking week than you do in your entire fucking era that you've been the person who's in charge of your little section of the plateau. Like, get fucked. Dude, these people are they've lost their minds. And I'm the one who goes to fucking jail. I gotta fucking deal with these fucking lawyers' fees. I'm the one, despite the fact that ultimately, the things that I've said change very little as to like somebody's day-to-day life. The things that you've been able to do, again, as Projet Montréal, as the people who are in charge, have made people's lives significantly worse. And you're going to call the things that I do, again, political fucking terrorism. Or
But I guess that's the politics of respectability, right? And like, and you can point to things that Projet has done that have actually like have improved the city and that have helped. And I'm sure under a Kodak administration, it would have accelerated, maybe could have accelerated, whatever. We don't know. We can't play counterfactual, but like it is a big tent party with well, I don't know if it's a big tent party actually. I don't know how to talk about politics anymore, man.
It's strange, and the only things that I can really sort of speak on are the things that I see every day, the things that are affecting people's lives every day. You know, we had the young woman here today from Slam who was talking about like just how you're supposed to be able to take care of yourselves. It's gotten to the point where we have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I'm although not very active or active at all, I'm a member of Slam as well, because like that speaks to me in a way that's like, I can't expect the people who cause my problems to fix my fucking problems.
No.
So
you show up for your neighbors.
That's it. You show up for your neighbors, you show up for your friends. And it's not always about, these big, like these huge showy things of like, oh, I'm going to do this to fix the city. Dude, I fucking helped my fucking neighbor move, and that's sometime enough for that. That's enough for the week.
I mean, I think if everybody engages in that kind of solidarity, then we have a better city already. But, what you're getting at, or at least I think what you're getting at, is like the difference of like, you have the politics of respectability, say nice things, be nice, present yourself well. But the flip side is that the actions of politicians, through their actions, right? It's like, it's one thing to say nice things, but when your actions either cause distress or cannot help a problem that is like people are ending up on the streets, people are dying on the streets in numbers that, it's alarming. Like I remember when I started covering homelessness in the mid 2010s, it would be bad if 5 people died on the street, 1 year. If 5 people died on the street in the last winter, it would have been a very good winter. It's turning into like 20, 30 people go missing, people overdose. Like there are very real violent consequences to decisions that are made in the halls of power. And yet we get angrier, I feel like, about the words and the way that it's, and don't get me wrong, I do think like we do have to be able to talk to each other.
For sure.
But we should also be able to yell at each other a little bit too, right? I mean, in good fun.
There's ways of communicating, obviously, that like are, you get more bees with honey than
that's right.
That's the old fucking bit. But again, like it's hard to stay relatively calm, and it's hard to stay like always composed when you see that the policy that's being enacted is actively harmful. Again, like I'm going to go back to the conversation you had with the young lady from Slam, where she was asked, can policy change things for the better? And rightfully, for a lot of people, the answer is no. But I think we'd all agree, like there's policy that can make things worse for everybody.
Yeah.
And these people who are, in charge of zoning, these people who are in charge of what your day-to-day is going to look like, actively profit on life being worse for you. Like, I don't always want to have a very pleasant conversation with you. It's not always going to be easy. Hopefully at the end of the day, we can get somewhere where everybody's kind of like understands each other a little bit more, but I'm not really that concerned with hurting somebody's feelings who is going to make the lives of my friends and my family and my community and my city worse. Like get fucked. Like sometimes you need sometimes
you can't swear on this show. That's true. You don't worry about it. We won't have to censor.
Sometimes you need bad people to say bad things. And I'm not the most liked person in the world. I can be very obnoxious. I can be very sort of confrontational. I think you could be
salty. I would say you're salty. You're a little salty. You be confrontational, but it has its charm too.
But you need a portion of the people who are going to represent you to do a bit of that fucking dirty work, because every day on the other side, that work is happening, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not going to fucking say anything about anything and fucking blame anybody for anything, but I'm not here fucking talking to you about getting arrested for fucking nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking get a phone call from the fucking SPVM because some guy may have saw a fucking thing on the internet. I'm not going to say who did what. I'm not going to fucking you know,
Speculate.
but like
Someone ratted you out.
listen, if it's
someone dropped a dime on Sergio Da Silva.
if it's a week before the campaign ends, and my campaign made it so that a particular candidate did not win in their riding that they've been holding on for the past 2 terms, hey, maybe there's something there. Maybe not.
It's entirely possible someone saw, like a citizen saw what you wrote on TVA and reached out. Like it's
for sure.
TVA gets a shitload of viewers. Rebel News too. Some of them live in Montreal. I mean, I don't think it necessarily matters who reached out and did it. I think or at least to me, what matters is that the police followed through on it. You were processed in a super crowded court system that has a lot to deal with, and that takes up a lot of our resources that could be going to something else. And so you tied up investigators, probably crown prosecutors, a judge's time, lawyers' times, a crown prosecutor's time, all of this for something that I think even the most elementary reading of our laws, our criminal code, and the most elementary reading of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms would say it is, in the most optimistic scenario, it's a very difficult to prosecute case. Moving forward, do you see this being normalized, the weaponization of the police to silence political dissent?
I mean, based on the current justice system, especially here in Quebec with the state of austerity the way it is, there are no crown prosecutors. There are absolutely no public defenders. They haven't hired anybody new in 6 years. You have crown prosecutors and public defenders with caseloads that are 300 fucking pages, that are 300 people long.
Yeah.
So the idea that you're going to be able to use the justice system to punish people, I mean, it happened to me. And everybody's so quick to sort of like, okay, we got to get these things out. Because by the time the first crown prosecutor who looked at my file was like, I'm absolutely going to go forward with this. I think this person is reprehensible. And it got to the point where he had to recuse himself.
Because he was so upset.
Because he was so upset. And think about it. This is a man who he's a prosecutor, rapists, child molesters, murderers, all the worst people you can imagine. And he's like, Sergio Da Silva said something bad on the internet. He was shitposting on the internet. I couldn't fucking possibly. And he had this violent reaction to it. He had to recuse himself. It got to the fucking big boss and he was like, get the fuck out of here. I don't have time for this. But they can use that justice system to cause harm. Like I now have to pay $6,000 in lawyer's fees, which for someone like me is not nothing. And the way that it works with, I don't know if you're familiar with the Jordan rule, where it basically there's a certain amount of time that the case has to take. But in my particular situation, I was given conditions immediately. But the Jordan rule doesn't start until my first appearance, which was today. So from October to today, didn't count towards those 18 to 30 months. But I was still living out on bail under these conditions. If I do anything wrong, I'll go to fucking jail. And it's like, it's very easy to manipulate without actually having to get too many people involved. And then you get to the point where
they kind of make your world smaller.
That's it.
Right? They give you fewer, your world gets smaller. And they kind of sideline you for an undetermined amount of time. And then the next time you're going to express yourself, you probably have to think, is it worth $6,000
and for me, it's always going to be, I mean, is it worth it? Yes. I mean, did I learn something from it? Absolutely. But not in a way that like, ooh, I have to be more timid with the things that I'm saying. I just like, oh, that's how that works. I'm smarter and better at this than I was before. Like, again, I can still go off. I can still fucking scream and yell and cuss as much as I like. But ultimately, I think the message is more palatable. One, because I don't have to be as hyperbolic anymore. And two, like I can see what and how they're going to fucking attack you if you try to sort of really hit them in these kind of ways that, oh, hi, Mittens.
Yeah, we do have a cat who comes on set sometimes.
Oh, a little dipped on the paint. But like there's that sort of there's that thing there. So like I wish this hadn't happened to me.
Yeah.
But of all people for it to happen to, I'm happy it's me and not anybody else. Because again, like it's turning lemons into lemonade. I got a big stupid fucking mouth and I'm going to keep running it. And like that's how that works. And like there are repercussions to that. And I understand that. I learned a little bit, over this process as to what that looks like. And that hasn't not made it so that I don't want to do this anymore.
Are you doing anything to raise money for the legal fees? Is there any way people can help you out? Even if it's just showing up to your bar, what do you want people to know?
I'm going to do a GoFundMe. I've got to raise this money. And then everything over that will go towards a trans organization that we pick, because from what the lawyer told me, basically it was that kind of
It was
idea.
the transphobic, or the tweet about transphobes. Yeah, I think that's great.
So that was it. So like we're just trying to raise that money, and then whatever else comes after that will go towards that. I'm selling the T-shirts that I made for the campaign, and then if you just want to come hang out at a bar that doesn't suck, I've got one. You can come do that, and you buy a slush, have a good time.
TurboHaüs on Saint Denis Street.
TurboHaüs on Saint Denis. I have a little cafe on Saint Denis as well.
Just above?
Yeah, called the Cafe Big Trouble. Like, listen, I'm not, I'm not out here trying to fucking fuck people's lives over. I'm here to
serve them coffee and maybe a beer.
Like, well, yeah, like let's have a good time, yeah.
Some rock and roll music. All right. Well, Sergio, thank you so much for coming on. I'm sorry you're going through this.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate your time.
So, I hear we're going on vacation?
Hence the Crocs. Yeah.
You're always in Crocs.
That's true.
That's nothing new.
Yeah, we're going to take some time because, well, a variety of reasons. We want to retool the show, make sure everything's a little bit better, but also there's an election coming up in the fall, and it's probably going to kill us all.
Yeah, so that's kind of like why we started the show when we did, was like in the spring, so that we could kind of get our reps in, kind of figure out what the show is, right? Like it's kind of evolved a little bit in like the 8 weeks that we've been doing it. And that's so then come election campaign.
You're ready.
Yeah.
We'd have our practice.
Yeah.
I hope we have our practice in.
So yeah. And I think we've learned a lot.
Yes. We've learned how to exhaust ourselves. We've learned how to operate without sleep. We've learned how to run a show on a shoestring budget. But I think that it would be helpful if the audience wants to weigh in, if they want to send us emails or messages, if they want to comment on this video. And let us know, like, well, what do you like? What do you not like? What do you think we should do more of? Should it be more immediate? Should it be less immediate? Would you watch a live version of this? There's a lot of questions, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we're going to take the next 2 weeks off, which I think is much needed for all of us. We'll come back at the beginning of August, I believe. And so for August, we'll do kind of like shorter episodes, maybe a little bit more timeless, a little less like what's going on in the news kind of thing. And then probably start up again in September with like
a proper, yeah. I mean, we're probably, I don't know yet because no one has really indicated when it's going to start, but the election is either going to be 4, 6, or 7 weeks. So it's probably beginning at the end of August. So by the time the election starts, we are probably going to be shooting more, and we're going to be trying maybe to shoot a few shows from the road. Like, we want to be ambitious and we want to do it right, and we maybe might even do like a live show on the night of the elections. But for all of that to work, we need people to tune in. It'd be nice if you're watching this and you want to help us out for free, just like hit the subscribe button, share it, become an ambassador, become a Rover ambassador, and just let us know what you like and what you don't. Really, like, it does help inform how we shoot the show and what we choose to cover and how we choose to cover it.
Yeah.
For the people, by the people.
Yeah. And like, we had started out very ambitious, like doing like 4 segments.
Yeah.
Like, each co-host would bring 2 segments. I think we kind of quickly enough realized that was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I think when we have 4 segments, there's always like 1 segment or maybe even 2 that like we don't care about as much. So you can kind of maybe pick up on, I don't know, that not that we're not trying hard, but that it's not our wheelhouse. Like when we pick 2 segments, it tends to be something we've both worked on a lot, and given all the other different jobs we have, I don't want to shortchange someone. Like, people's time is precious. If we can take them deeper with fewer subjects instead of like a kind of a superficial, they'll get that everywhere. Like, you can get that by glancing at the news. You can get that on any number of podcasts. I think what makes us a bit different as a media product, I hate that I'm using that word, is that we take our time on things. We go deep. We explore alternate angles.
Yeah, like a deep dive kind of thing. Yeah, so we are able to take more time with the subjects that we do cover, and having more guests, I think, has kind of been the move. I was a little like nervous about guests at first because it's like, oh well, you have to like schedule and plan and everything, but I think it was really the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about guests is with this show, anyways, what makes me really kind of like what makes me excited about this show is the idea that like there are so many talented and amazing people in the city and good thinkers and people who are affected by the news and they don't get any airtime on the mainstream, right? They're not on Radio Canada, they're not on CBC, they're not on any of the big stations, and I think there's this whole second culture that's like exists on Instagram, exists on TikTok, exists in the streets. Nobody on the TV news knows who Sergio Da Silva is really, except for the one hugely controversial thing. But like the Instagram people know who Sergio is, and same with Renzel, right? Like you're not seeing Renzel on regular TV all the time, but Renzel Dashington has a super big presence on Instagram. So I think it's kind of like creating an alternate media universe where we kind of play by our own rules, and I mean, again, like we're trying. Who knows if it's going to work or not? But I've had as stressful as it's been. I think it's been really fun to work with a team. It's been really fun to like every Thursday we shoot this show. We have lunch together after or dinner. We've all, I think, gotten to know each other a little bit better. Except you and me, we already know each other way too well. The show's in my basement. You've seen way too much of my laundry. I'm sorry. It's smelly. So
what was your favorite episode?
Gosh, I really liked the episode with Renzel and Ricardo, and where we went to the protest in Montreal Nord, because like it probably that with Justin's editing and all of our time, it took us the longest to put that one together, but it was, and I think we were editing it. No, we weren't editing it in Ottawa. There was another week, but still, like it took so much work, but nobody complained. Everyone did their best. And then while we were filming, the power got cut out.
True.
So we all went to lunch.
Yeah.
And it was like a nice bonding experience. So I think that was my favorite. What about yours?
Yeah, no, that was my favorite one was the week after, I would say. Obviously, like difficult subject. It was after the incel shooting.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I really enjoyed my conversation with Naima. I think that was like my personal highlight. And then, well, I like that episode that you're talking about because I think it was a bit of a turning point when we kind of realized like, oh no, like we don't want to be in the studio all the time. That's not kind of what the Rover ethos is, right? And so I think that it was nice to kind of be like, oh yeah, like we can do these like segments like out in the field, like talking to people. And like I know that it was super stressful for you guys, but like I know that you had a really like I saw that it really lit a fire in your belly, you know? Like so I was like happy for you for that.
That's nice. It's been exciting. Like the thing about you and me is that because we now run a company, we have a lot less time on the front lines doing the thing that we love to do. So this show has forced both of us to think more creatively, to be out there a little more. And I'm excited for what it could be. But again, like I really, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, how much more blackmail do you need? Subscribe, please.
Share it with a friend. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll be back beginning of August.
Yeah, we'll be back beginning of August, and we're going to do our best, man. We're going to do everything we always do, except better.
It's the best we can do.
All right. Well, thank you for everything you've done on the show. And also, like, I think we have to mention this, the fact that, like, this show is not just you and me. This show is Max Richard. This show is Justin Kahn. This show is Amelia Fournier. And all of the people who work with the Rover, who help us out. Jules Bougel, who came to help us. It's a big community of people, including the readers who subscribe to the Rover. Like, it's a big community of people that make it possible. Yeah. And, unfortunately, we're going to need more to keep it going. But that's part of the fun, is growing it.
Yeah.
And hopefully not dying in the process.
Here's to that.
Here's to that.